Good news, Joker's back. Bad news, Jamal's not. Good news, Russ hit 4 threes. Bad news, everyone's mad about Christian Braun not closing the game. We'll break down the loss to the Mavericks here on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making this part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us here on the weekend for this special bonus episode, hoping to take you higher, even after a tough loss to the Dallas Mavericks by the Denver Nuggets on Friday night. I'm Matt Moore, senior NBA writer for the Action Network, joined by Ryan Blackburn of Mile High Sports. You can catch him on the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. I'm sure he'll have a further breakdown of this game on Saturday a.m. Here in I don't know, you got 8 hours. You're fine. Don't be sighing at me. You got 8 hours.
Right. Forgot about that. Thank you for the reminder. I actually did need that reminder.
I got my girl's got a basketball game tomorrow. I gotta get up and work on her handle.
Oh no, you get to work with your children.
Yeah.
Oh man, so do I. I have to watch Jamal.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, it hurts. Nuggets take the loss to the Dallas Mavericks, going to 0-2 in group play. Or is it 1-2?
1-2.
1-2. They lose 123-120. The Mavericks get revenge for the nail biter loss a couple weeks ago, 10 days ago, something like that.
You were on this, by the way. You were basically like, yeah, they're going to come back in. Doesn't matter that they don't have Luka. They're going to come back in and they're going to try to make amends. And they did. They took it to Denver in that first half, and Denver could never recover.
Tough loss, tough spot here. Nikola Jokic does return. Congrats to Nikola Jokic on the birth of his baby boy, born on Thursday. That finally came out. You no longer have to not say the thing that everybody should have known if you just done any Googling whatsoever. Told you guys it was fine. Jokic came back and was 33, 17, and 10. 2 threes on 2 attempts, 5 of 7 from the line, 13 and 22 from the field, only 3 turnovers and a +4. Not a bad night's work for the old daddy-o. Okay. The big thing that's going to be talked about, and I was thinking about this on the way home, a younger version of Matt, a less wise version of Matt would have come in here and been like, I'm going to be all piss and vinegar, and I'm going to yell about why you're dumb if you think that Christian Braun not closing this game is the reason the Nuggets lost. I'm not going to do that. It is your right as a fan to take whatever the outcome was in a loss and say that if it wasn't that, we would have won. That is one of the basic tenets of being a fan. It doesn't matter that there's literally zero evidence to support that. I'm not going to sit here and make a big deal out of it. You're going to be mad that Christian Braun didn't close the game. I will say that I personally do not feel it would have changed the outcome. I did not find any sequence or play or any sort of butterfly. There's always the butterfly effect where maybe there's a desperation event and a loose ball and Christian hits another 3. Maybe. Entirely possible. Okay. So it's entirely possible. I understand it from a process standpoint that Christian has been phenomenal this year. He's been great in almost every stretch he's played. He has been terrific. He is always a very consistent player. He has been shooting the lights out. He's a top-end defender. All of those things I agree with. So from a process standpoint, I totally understand why you would want Christian to play. I don't think it changes the outcome, but I get thinking that he should have played, Ryan.
Yeah, probably. And one of the things that I look back on the rotation chart and think, okay, what could they have done better? Russ and Jamal both played the entire fourth quarter. That was minutes that they how much have they actually played together so far this year? Denver learned some things. They did some good things to kind of get back into that game for sure. But I also do think that they like Russ's final 5 minutes, he got blocked twice at the rim, and that was basically all he did. So am I going to sit here and say that Christian would have done much more than that? I don't know, probably. But I do know that it was a different closing lineup than the Nuggets have gone to. And that's something.
I think one, I will say this: there's this kind of idea of, I think CB has, Robert says this, I think CB has earned there's an idea of like CB has earned the right to close. I will counter with, hasn't Michael Malone earned the right to decide the closing rotation at this point? Like, has he not won enough games for you?
Yeah.
He's about to become the winningest coach in franchise history, and he probably would have had a starting point guard not once again taking a deuce on the floor. Like, I don't think does Malone get to make these decisions.
Look, I agree with you. I don't think that changed the outcome of the game. I think that Malone was well within his right to make that choice, and like, Russ had gotten them back into the game. He was making these threes. He was making plays. He was playing defense. He was doing a whole bunch of things energy-wise that needed to get Denver back into the game. And this was a good opportunity to close with that group and see what it had, see what it got. I think that we're burying the lead here. The story is Jamal Murray.
I don't know. I think that most people are going to be like, what about Christian Braun? But I will say, here's the other thing. A lot of the most interesting thing about the Christian Braun thing, Ryan, is that most people don't think that Christian Braun should have been in for Russell Westbrook. Yeah. They think he should have been in for Jamal Murray. By the way, Swipa, who needs to go to bed because he's an old man that works too hard.
Good Lord, it's 3:00 there, dude.
Yeah, it's 3:00, man. Go to bed. He has Matt blame the loss on Jokic's lack of rim protection. First of all, I don't blame Jokic for the lack of rim protection. It's not his job because he's playing at the level of the screen. It's the backside stuff, which is what I talked to both Malone and Peyton Watson about at the game that you were not at. So I think that So
simmer down there, big fella.
Not blaming Jokic for the lack of rim protection at all, but like, here I will cede the floor to the internet's most famous Jamal defender.
Yeah,
Ryan Blackburn.
Look, I am on the border of being out. I was saying this at the beginning of the year. I have given Jamal the benefit of the doubt throughout his career over and over and over again. This just looks like who he is. And if that's what he's going to be, then it does open up the possibility that, hey, you should probably close with the guy that got you back into the game, not the guy that was kind of dragging you down in the first place. Jamal made some good passes. He made some good defensive plays. He hit the three that cut the deficit from 4-1. But he was one of the reasons why they were in that situation in the first place. And overall, his defense really killed them down the stretch. And what?
You're not wrong.
Of course I'm not. I'm the Jamal guy.
just hang on. I just want to take a step back here. I want to take a step back. These are the facts. 14 points, 5 boards, 11 assists, 3 blocks, including some really high effort level defensive plays. And then he got cooked in ISO. But here's also a thing. I got to go back and I got to watch what the sequence was, because yes, he got beat 1-on-1. Where's the help? Where's the help defender?
I agree with that. I do think that Denver, like, the 123 points isn't given up by one person. And that should be something that everybody internalizes. Jokic had some points that he gave up on offensive rebounds. I thought Christian Braun at times was pretty good and at times wasn't great. Like, there was a reason why they switched that matchup onto Peyton Watson in the second half. Michael Porter was horrible defensively tonight. Jamal Murray was horrible defensively tonight overall.
You think?
Yeah, I do. I think in general, I don't care as much about the defense with him. I care about the fact that he does not look like the offensive player that he was promised to be, that he wants to be, that he wants to be known as, that he wants to be treated as, that he wants to be consistently, like, he wants to be above certain things. He wants to be talked about in certain ways. And at this point, like, he's just not bringing the right mentality, man. Like, 0 of 5 inside the arc tonight. He doesn't put any pressure on the defense. His passing is passing the ball to the best player in the world. Congratulations. That is very impressive. And I just tend to think that his job has been easy for most of this time. And now that it's getting difficult, and now that the body is not like really responding in the ways that it should be, and now that the temperature in the room is a little bit hot, I do not think that he is responding well.
I agree he's not responding well. I don't think it's fair to say that his job was easy. I don't think being the starting point guard for a team that has won a title, made multiple playoff runs, a guy came back from ACL surgery, I don't think it's easy.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, you've done this to me countless times.
Yes.
How many top 10 point guards do they win a title with?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
How many top 15 point guards do they win a title with?
Look, it's tough right now because you want to know what the bar I never told you about because I knew you would lose your mind. This is the bar. Would the Nuggets be better off right now with Fred VanVleet? Yes. The answer
Probably.
Is yes. The answer is yes. Fred consistently pops up as like one of the most impactful guys. He plays great defense. He hits open threes.
Makes great decisions.
The offense. Makes great decisions. Right? I don't want to act. I don't like scapegoating individual players, and I don't like scapegoating individual players for things that are not necessarily their primary responsibility. Like Jamal got beat one-on-one on defense because he's not good defensively. Joker gets beat one-on-one in defense all the time because he's not good defensively. It happens to Jamal more than it does to Joker. Joker does a better job of covering up for that and disrupting things.
Up in a lot of ways.
I don't want to act like the 11 assists to 3 turnovers is nothing. I don't want to act like these things. He is unable to create separation, and that's a fundamental problem. There's just like these sequences where the ball stops and they're late in the clock because Jamal keeps trying to shake and he can't.
Guys are not happy with him either.
Yeah, and that's a severe problem. On the other side, we'll keep talking about the game. We'll talk about some of the other performances. I want to talk about Peyton Watson because I was really impressed with him tonight. That's a positive thing. I'm trying to be positive tonight. And we'll keep talking about the Jamal problem and some things to know about it on the other side here on Locked On Nuggets. You know, when I was in my late 20s, I kind of realized like, oh, I should get my finances in order and not have my entire financial life be an absolute disaster move. We've all hit a point where we realized it was time to make serious money moves. You can take control of your finances by using a Chime checking account with features like no maintenance fees, fee-free overdraft up to $200, or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Learn more at chime.com/NBA. Chime helps you make progress with the fee-free overdraft up to $200 so that your next deposit is applied to your balance. You get spotted on debit card purchases and cash withdrawals. No monthly fees or maintenance fees. Over 50,000 fee-free ATMs for you to use. You can set up direct deposit in your Chime account, and after a qualifying direct deposit of $200, Chime will notify you to enroll in SpotMe. With an activated debit card, Chime will spot you up to $200 when you exceed your balance. Your next direct deposit is applied to your negative balance. Chime never charges fees or interest for using SpotMe. Make your fall finances a little greener by working towards your financial goals with Chime. Open up your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank NA or Stride Bank NA. Members FDIC. SpotMe eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in SpotMe and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com disclosures for details. We're also brought to you by GameTime. Hey, so if the Nuggets if the Nuggets don't win on Saturday night versus the Los Angeles Lakers, which they very well could, but if they don't, and on Monday, they take on the New York Knicks, Michael Malone going to be the all-time winningest Nuggets coach if they win that game. Good game to be in the house for. Honestly, it was like a party atmosphere tonight. It was really fun to be at Ball Arena. It was like the vibes were really great, and then the ball went up in the air, and then things went downhill quickly. But you can get great seats with Game Time. They've got the view seats, the panoramic view. So not only are you going to see what's in front of you, right? Because some of them show you what's in front of you. They got panoramic, so you're going to see like to the side. You're going to get an entire view of where your seat is, and I think that really matters. They got the all-in pricing, which is so good. All that and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it, Ryan?
Game time.
We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. 5-ish says, "What's up, guys? I'm sure there are measured and tempered takes from the fans tonight after this loss."
Oh, yeah.
Give Murray's spot to Justin Holiday.
Hey, I miss Justin too.
I miss talking to him. He was a really good quote.
Good guy.
All right. So, hey, I just need to make this clear. When Jamal signed the extension, there is now a restriction on his trade eligibility. The Nuggets cannot trade Jamal Murray.
Yes.
So moving past the fact that moving on from Jamal Murray after giving him that extension and locking in your future with him, and the fact that he was the starting point guard for your championship team 18 months ago, beyond that, you physically can't. They can't trade him. So you can stop trying to demand that they trade him because they can't do it. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't, which they don't want to because that would be a little bit insane off of, I don't know.
Yeah. There's a 6-month restriction on trades after extensions, and he signed his overall extension, I think, on late September or so. So that is putting us in late March, and the trade deadline is in mid-February. So asking to trade Jamal is completely it's just dumb and it's a stupid conversation at this point. It's not going to happen. What you have to talk about is how does it get better with Jamal? What can Jamal do? How can the team help Jamal? What does Michael Malone need to are there some tough decisions that need to be made? Things like that. Like we talked about, should he have been benched tonight? Should he have been benched? What would have happened had Jamal been benched and they had gone with Russell Westbrook, a minimum contract, Christian Braun, a rookie contract, Michael Porter, Peyton Watson, and Nikola Jokic? That would have been a fascinating dynamic, I think.
Okay, I want to get to something Malone said about the comeback.
Okay.
But we'll do that after we talk about this.
I mean, we don't have to talk long.
So I think you asked kind of after the game, you were like, do they lose Murray a little bit if they bench him? Confidence is a very tricky thing in the NBA, and it can go. And when it goes, things get worse. Murray's searching a little bit, the comments from post game. I wasn't in the locker room, but Ben Durando was, and then the comments were kind of Murray knows that he's struggling and knows he's got to be better. There's an awareness there, and there's no longer the kind of defiance that marked their early season stuff. I do think here is the thing, though. Malone, it took Malone a long time to find a group that he could really trust and believe in. Murray was around for those early years when it was they didn't have stars. They didn't have anybody. They were just trying to figure out game by game how to get wins. And they've been through so much from the first playoff run, the bubble, Jamal's injury, the 2 years without, or the year and a half without, the title run last year. They've been through so much together. But that also means it's going to hurt that much more if you do pull the plug on him. And I know it's as a fan, you're I don't care. He sucks. Get him out of the game. I get that. I totally get that. But there is a large part of this that is about how do you get to the end in the right spot? How do you get to the end with enough wins to get you the seeding and home court that you need and healthy enough and playing well enough as a team to win a title? And I will tell you this, because they cannot trade him, there is no chance the Denver Nuggets win the NBA title unless they get Jamal Murray into a better place.
Zero chance.
You cannot do it. There's no scenario. If there was, I'm the guy that always tells you can win without him because you have Nikola Jokic. And I think you can win certain games. And I don't think that every game is on Jamal. There is a kind of thinking amongst a lot of folks in Denver that everything's on Jamal. And it's well, no, I don't think that that's true. But they're going to need enough of Jamal for them to win a title. And I'm not telling you that means that you have to like accept this and just be like, it's okay, buddy. You can be pissed. He's played like crap. That's totally fine. But you got to understand that it can't be, I'm sick of him. I'm done with him. I want him out of here, because it can't happen. So your only real recourse here is to be like, hold him accountable, which I think is good. Like that's totally your right as a fan, and focus on whether or not he can actually get where he needs to go.
Part of it to me is reorienting different things. If you do not believe that the 2-man game or Jamal like going into his bag and trying to do the things that he generally does in order to get the team back into games and win games, is there another solution? Is it Michael Porter Jr., who's the second option going forward? Is it Aaron Gordon when he comes back? Is he the second option going forward? Do they explore different ideas and in different kind of like pecking orders, and trying to change up the mentality of what should certain guys be looking for in certain situations? I don't even think that they can get to that, because it's so ingrained that Nikola is the number one and Jamal's the guy that's feeding him or taking the shot otherwise. So I don't even know how they get to that other stuff, if I'm being honest. Like it's just 9 years of hardwire. And I think you kind of saw it with Golden State a little bit with Steph, Clay, and Draymond. And then Clay left, and they're pretty good.
Robert Rodarte, who's been around a minute in my content circles. I mean, Matt Smith, this is also how Jamal has acted in post games and coming into seasons. Don't have to tell me, sir. Yeah. But that's kind of the thing is, I don't want how Jamal treats the media or his attitude to reflect onto the analysis of the game.
Sure.
And I think it's very easy to do that, to be like, well, he's kind of a jackass. And so he also missed a bunch of shots, so he's bad. And he got beat on defense, so he's bad. And it's like, well, okay, he got beat on defense, and that needs to be better. And he's missing shots. That's not great. But that's kind of like the attitude really doesn't have anything to do with it, because I think he's approaching the game the right way. I don't think his approach to the game tonight was poor. I don't think he was lazy. I think Jamal played really hard. And that actually plays into something that Malone talked about, which is he said, look, when you're trying to come back from 25 down, you burn so much energy trying to get back into the game. And he's like, I think we ran out of gas by the end. And I think you kind of saw it. I think that was honestly a lot of Jamal. Jamal played so hard and made that chase down block that was like a really pretty ridiculous sequence. And then he gets beat 3 times because he's gassed. And he can't come out of the game, because if he comes out of the game, he's not coming back in. And he's like, you can't have your start. Like if you're a star, that would be worse than getting benched.
Yeah.
Is being like, hey, I'm tired. Can you bench me for the most important minutes of the game? No. Right. And he did hit that monster 3, which cut the lead.
I don't even know how to grade that one. Like, yes, he hit it. It was awesome. It wasn't, I don't know, what led up to that is what matters to me more. And it should matter to everybody more. I do think that like one of the things that we probably should talk about, Jamal played 39 minutes tonight. He played 21 minutes in the second half. Like, if there is a way to reduce his role from a minutes perspective and just an overall like burden, that's going to help him. It just will.
I agree, which is why it would be really swell if this team had a third point guard on the roster instead of one in Grand Rapids.
Alexander was a +6 tonight, sir. Trey Alexander, come on.
Pride of Creighton, Vinny Benedetto. By the way, DeAndre Jordan's dunk tonight, I will not get through this episode without mentioning that DeAndre Jordan had the dunk of the night. That dunk was so powerful, it shook the rim. I felt it through the stands underneath my feet, and it continued to shake for a solid 10 seconds afterwards. That was one of the best lobs Jamal has ever thrown. That sequence was amazing. Jokic was incredible in this game. He really was. Like, again, like I just don't know what to do here, man. I mean, 33, 17, and 10 off of being off for a week. What do you do about I don't even know I don't know how to cover this. I really don't. And I will say this. There were jokes before we came on. People were like, how's Matt going to blame this on Jokic? I don't take Jokic's production and automatically go, oh, he had a good game because he had this line. Jokic was phenomenal tonight. He was great in every facet. I thought Joker was awesome on defense, on offense. I thought he played the right way.
Yeah. And
nobody met him. We haven't really even talked about the fact that they built themselves a 24-point hole. Like we haven't talked about that, which is like the entire problem.
Yeah, that was really the issue in general. Just, I mean, and that's where I thought that Jamal and MPJ specifically did not have the right mentality at the beginning. I thought that everybody other than Joker really, like actually Christian Braun, I will say he was the one who kind of got the scoring off and started and kind of kept Denver in the game a little bit. But for the most part, it was just an unfortunate offensive performance from Denver. I think that Dallas is going to be a team to watch against Denver in a playoff matchup because having Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington and Najee Marshall, who's pretty big, and then Luka Doncic coming back, like they are suddenly a large team, like a team that I think will match up in similar ways like the Timberwolves did.
I love this matchup, and I'm really excited. I want to see this in a playoff series because they are very evenly matched. They ate the Nuggets up in the first half at the rim. That continues to be a problem for Denver. Points in the paint. But Denver did like crawl all the way back. I thought Peyton Watson played a huge role in that too. Peyton Watson hit a monster 3 to give them the lead. He had some huge shots. He made huge defensive plays, 3 blocks for Peyton, 15 points. He was always ready to defend with arms wide open. Like absolutely. He was always in a really great position. And it's unfortunate because you got good performances tonight. Michael Porter Jr., 17 points. Some defensive stuff was a problem, but he got going 17, 5 and 5 for Mike. Christian Braun in his minutes, he was a -9 because he was with Dario, but he was 17 points on 6 and 9 again. He's hitting his 3 still. And so it's like but here's the thing is like all these things are go right, but as long as Jamal is there, they're kind of in their own prison of being trapped because they can't get out of the situation with Jamal is so pivotal to their structure that they need him to be better.
They do. And they don't have a lot of other options. There's one of the byproducts of the Vlatko Chanchar, Daron Holmes injuries. Denver's down to 13 full-time roster guys, and the 4 other guys that don't usually play are Hunter Tyson, Zeke Naji, DeAndre Jordan, and Jalen Pickett. And Denver just doesn't have a lot of optionality behind what they currently have. So this is the group. Like when Aaron Gordon comes back, this is the group. And I think you could be pretty happy with where Peyton Watson's at. I think you could be happy that Russell Westbrook, despite the fact that didn't ultimately work out, like shot 4 of 6 from 3 tonight and had some really great passes in the first half to kind of keep Denver in it. And I think Julian Strother's proven to be a player that Denver can rely upon, but Dario got muscled under the rim in this matchup. Like there's going to be some issues there. I tend to think that it really does obviously come back down to Jamal, though. I can talk about a whole bunch of other stuff. I could talk about things that are positive. I could talk about things that are negative. It doesn't matter unless Jamal gets back into form.
Derek Lively, by the way, had 2 absolutely ridiculously incredible defensive plays.
He's incredible. He's a lot of fun.
Where he closed out on Jamal on a switch, prevented Jamal from taking the spot up 3 by closing the space, then recovered on the inside to block Nikola on a putback attempt. Just ridiculous plays. So yeah, that's going to do it for Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you guys being with us. Guess what? I'll be back tomorrow night with you after the Lakers game. I'll do a post-game show for you, and then we'll be back on Sunday night with No Jinx. Check out Mile High Sports' Pickaxe and Roll podcast on Saturday morning. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. Give us those 5-star reviews. Have yourselves a great weekend. Go enjoy it. Be good to one another.
Beat the Lakers.
That too. We'll talk to you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.